Hey, hey there. Welcome back. This is Big Trouble in Little Podcast. I'm Andy.
I'm Chaz.
I'm Joe Dubs, and I just noticed I have like a stupid like Hitler goatee down here. It's kind of annoying me.
Hitler
never had.
Yeah. I know. Anyway, I'm Joe Dubs.
Zach.
This is episode. What the hell episode is 320? This is episode 320. We're on week 3 of Star Trek month. Doesn't have a clever name, but we're watching any and all Star Trek. We're taking all comers on the Trek shows. This week, we're doing Doc Talk in space. Chaz, you chose these episodes. Why'd you choose these episodes?
Admittedly, the first one we're going to talk about, because I thought we talked about them in order. Well, it's not, but I had to choose last minute because we had to change. So little backstage opening. I originally chose The High Ground, which is the episode I really wanted to watch and discuss, and I thought it would be great. But then turned out last minute we had to change it because before the last episode when we aired it because you guys had already covered The High Ground.
And we liked it.
Yeah, that's totally fair. That said, I was kind of just in a spot where, I got to choose something, so I quickly looked, and this was the next episode that was recommended underneath, like Dr. Crusher episodes. They lied.
Yeah, she's in it a teeny tiny little bit, but not much.
Yeah, like the Doctor Dilemma is there for a very small amount, and this is most definitely more a Worf and Geordi episode than it is.
Yeah, the medical dilemma is more Worf's than anything.
Exactly. So that made me a little upset that it didn't fit the theme because the other two were such good picks, especially like the segue from one to the next. So anyway,
can I make a connection because like the whole like Crusher thing was like trying to convince Worf to give like I don't know, blood sample because he has like the molecules to help out this Romulan. So I have a real life story that kind of like compares it to this. So at Wawa, when I go get my sub sandwich or my hoagie and stuff, there's usually a blood drive truck that's usually sitting out there. And this guy was like, "Hey, do you want to give blood?" And I'm the type of person, I hate needles. And number one, like I'm going to work after Wawa, so I don't want to give blood and like drive to work while I'm like giving blood and stuff. And this guy like shamed me. He's like, "So you don't want to help people?" And I got so annoyed by that I said
He's
no.
Loaded the meat, man.
I said no. I do not want to help people. And then I just walked out.
Fuck people.
So I pulled a Worf essentially without like being racist towards like a certain race, I guess.
Yeah, you don't know where the blood's going. It could go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily call that pulling a Worf. Worf is conflicted from the sense of it's very specific to he's helping someone who actually looked at him and said, "I would rather die than have your impure, Klingon blood."
Mm-hmm.
That seems funny too, because up until that point, like Worf was already saying no, but you get the impression that like people are kind of talking him into it, and then he decides to go see this Romulan, and he says all that stuff. And it's like, I guess forget it.
Yeah, exactly. It's, well, whatever chance you had, it's gone.
I think it would be funnier if after that he was like, "You know what? I've changed my mind." Because it's like, "I don't want your impure blood in my veins." It's like, "Oh no, I want to do this now."
So that's what I kind of thought. Is he gave it to him out of spite? You have to live knowing that a Klingon saved your life.
He's like, save this Romulan's life, and then he beats his ass.
So is the Romulans like considered Nazis? Like,
no, they're Soviets. I think so. Anyway. I really think the Federation Romulan thing is the Cold War.
It makes a lot of sense when you look at like how they relate and discuss issues with each other. I mean, even in this episode, there's very much some Cold War nonsense. Like there's a lot of back and forth of, "Oh no, I didn't mean anything by this." Like you're just pushing the needle to see how far you can take things and do certain things.
There's only one guy. We found another guy. "Oh, I didn't know. Oh, it's so weird. I'm sorry. I was misinformed." Yeah. And there's like, from where the Romulan bird or the Romulan ships can cloak, there's like a little bit of like a submarine warfare element to it sometimes. And I always saw it as the Cold War because they're not at war, but they really don't like each other. And there's a whole neutral demilitarized zone and stuff like that.
Mm.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree. It kind of makes sense.
This episode is beautifully shot when it's on the planet, by the way. I love the shots between Geordi and like the other Romulan, because like Geordi's like blindly going through like, hey, where's everybody? And all that stuff, like Worf. and then all of a sudden, like you see like the shoe of the Romulan. I'm like, that's a pretty good shot for a season 2 Star Trek Next Generation episode, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I think the story, again, it doesn't fit the theme that I wanted to go with, because there's very little of Dr. Crusher being involved at all. She's just facilitating what her job is, and the dilemma, like as we talked about, is really up to Worf.
There doesn't have to be a theme. There isn't always. And again, you do have. You said earlier that the there's an interesting segue between the other two. You have one here too, because the next 2 episodes both have Robert Picardo in both of them, but this one and the second episode both have Michael Dorn in them.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So there is some segue from one to the next.
Yep.
But that said, I think this episode is still really good, especially with establishing. Like again, it does the thing where you can be enemies with someone but still try to be the person to help. And there's also a lot of really good duality between Geordi helping a Romulan in the situation they're in and working together, and then the situation of Worf has the opportunity to help someone that absolutely doesn't want his help because of the past that their races have, and then subsequently decides not to help him, and before he even has a chance to maybe change his mind, the guy dies anyway. So
does he do the right thing? Like, I know it's his choice, but like, is that messed up? What do you guys think?
I mean, it's a
see. I feel for Worf, right? But like the overall thing is like Picard said, like I have to look out for the fucking whole ship, and you're just being a fucking baby about this because they killed your parents and shit. And I think that's what kind of like made him think about like maybe I should give the blood, and then the Romulan's like, fuck you, I don't want your blood and shit. There is no right or wrong in my opinion, because you guys played the Last of Us Part 1, right?
Yeah.
You know, at the end where like he saves Ellie but lies to her essentially.
Yeah.
I see Joel's point of view, and I kind of see what Worf's point of view. Be like, I'm pissed off. It's kind of like essentially.
I mean, I always empathize with Joel too, but he's saving a life. Worf is choosing not to save a life.
Yeah, I just say again. It's exactly like that. It's good. It's neat that you compare that, because Joel's decision is to save someone's life in spite of saving humanity. Like literally has the chance to save humanity.
Maybe they don't even
has the chance. That's what I mean. Has the chance. We don't know if it will, but there is a chance that this could literally save humanity. But he doesn't want to lose another daughter. Like, because at this point, Ellie's his daughter. That's what we take from that. So he would rather save his child than have a chance to save humanity. He'd rather forsake that chance, and we just try to live the life that we've had. You know, whatever we can build now going forward, and that's that. This is just picking pride over not saving someone, with the risk of causing war and maybe killing all of your closest friends now, because that's what Picard is trying to prevent. Picard's trying to prevent an incident that could lead to war, and then everything that they've worked for to build the neutral zone and have the situation they have could escalate, and this could be the starting point of a massive galactic war. Like, there are huge implications in that. So is your pride really worth it? I will say the one thing I do like, and if for those that haven't watched other TNG, this does stick very on theme with Worf and his vision of pride until he has some more character growth to kind of see past that, because in other episodes where he has to choose to do the other, like the thing that isn't pride based, like whenever he has to I'm trying to think of the episode where he has to basically just keep his father's dishonor a secret for the sake of the Klingons.
Oh yeah.
Like, again, that's a huge change from this, is it not? Like,
Mm-hmm. But he still has character growth even in Deep Space Nine. There's like some parts where he still has that hard nosed personality. I mean, he's still grown from what he was in TNG.
I mean, it's still who he is.
I mean, that's just Klingons too, right? Klingons are just stubborn. They're say their nasal ridge is literally as hard as their personality. Like that's just how they are. So
you almost made me spit my drink.
Yeah, you're welcome. So yeah, I think again, I don't think you could fault him for it. I tell you what, like maybe you could see a reason. Oh no, come on, dude, come on, you just do it. And then the guy's like, no, don't give me your blood. Like he's like, I would rather die than have your impure blood. And it's like, all right, now fuck this guy. He deserves to die. It's like, okay, he's literally just like, I would rather die. It's like, all right, fine, you can die, but at the same time,
I mean, Picard gives him that speech about like, yeah, they did something terrible to you, and now you're gonna do something terrible to this guy, and then maybe that's gonna cause the Romulan Star Empire to do something terrible to us. And like, where does it stop? It's like that Hatfields McCoys thing. It's like at some point, someone has to not be a dick.
I mean, it's the vicious cycle thing. Like it is. Again, if you perform an act of violence against someone, that ultimately only leads to that person committing another act of violence in a cycle until someone intentionally breaks it. Someone has to choose to make that make the decision to break from violence, for sake of peace.
I feel like what I said, but okay.
No, it is. I'm just agreeing with you. Like it's we're saying the same thing. So I'm reinforcing what you said.
But I don't know. If it had been any other character in the entire show that was in Worf's position, there wouldn't have been a conflict, obviously. And the fact that it is Worf makes it a very interesting episode. And I think also the writers are extremely, I don't want to use the word brave. That sounds ridiculous. But the writers have balls to write this. Because obviously Worf is a protagonist. We like him. I like Worf a lot. And they put this situation on him where you're kind of like, you see both sides of it, and it makes you think about his character, and it makes you think about morality, it makes you think about whether he made the right choice or not. So,
well, let me make this like real life, essentially. Like, let's say a 9/11 victim of a family member that died in the Twin Towers. Like, they're the only person that could save a Muslim. Like, essentially, that's that situation. Like, in their mind, they're like, and I know a lot of people can say like all Muslims are not terrorists, but in that person's mind during that political time, they would look at it and be like, why the fuck would I want to help them? Essentially.
Yeah, but that's just Islamophobia. So I know you're trying to make a good example. So why don't we just jump to the obvious one? A Holocaust survivor has a chance to save a Nazi's life.
There you go. That makes more sense. Someone who's actually like a commandant at a concentration camp or something.
And the Nazi is actively like, no, fuck you. I would rather die than have your nasty Jew blood. Like that's literally like how that person feels and says it.
Someone's gonna clip that.
And we're canceled. So is that person wrong for saying no? Let him die, even if it could lead to some escalation of some kind. No, but that's the point. That's exactly the point. It is a gray area.
I think the show's portrayal of it is right. They have every right. I hate to repeat the word, but they have every right to say no. I don't want to do that. That's completely up to them. But it's it's still shitty way to be.
I still like that both Crusher and Picard like respect Worf's rights essentially. Be like, I can't order you to fucking take your blood to save this person, because I think in now times or like the barbaric times that we're living in right now, like a fucking general would be like, fucking pin that man down, take his blood so we can fucking save his lives, compared to what Star Trek would be, in my opinion.
How much of that is they know they can't tell him? I wonder. Like I know they're both righteous characters and everything, but. Like, of course, he can't command that. That seems completely out of the purview of, like, I mean, I don't know the laws of Starfleet, this fictional organization of the future or anything. But, like, realistically speaking, you can't tell someone to do that who's under your command.
True, but, like, obviously, a captain or a general outweighs the many against the one person would probably sacrifice their job in order to save lives, right? When you think that, be like, fuck, if I had to lose my job to save many people, they would do it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
That's the whole point of this episode is the conversation we're having.
No, it absolutely is. And the fact that it helps facilitate said conversation, and there's really not a right answer, it speaks again to the writing of the show. It's a good episode for sure. It just doesn't fit the whole Doctor theme thing, but that doesn't matter. Again, like it doesn't
there's
matter.
like small parts it does, essentially.
Well, it's kind of a shame we're talking so much about this because the part I prefer, the part I have more fun with, is Geordi down on the planet learning to get along with this.
With
this other
bacala,
character.
the fucking food.
Yeah. I think that's fun. It reminds me of Hell in the Pacific, a movie I really like. It's kind of a similar plot. American and Japanese fighter pilots both get stranded on the same island during World War II, and they have to learn how to not try to kill each other.
I kept on thinking about that Dennis Quaid movie with the alien, but Geordi doesn't fuck the Romulan, so
They didn't get
fair
that
enough.
desperate. They weren't down there long enough for that.
Yeah,
They might have got around to it, but
yeah.
Magnet.
They may
how
few
do they
months.
work?
They were
Learn to
close.
love. But yeah. Anyway, good episode. Definitely recommend it. But
I like it. I recommend it. I recommend the whole series. Though I've got on record saying that.
oh,
before.
yeah, all of
Just watch
TNG is
Just
great.
watch Star Trek. Yeah.
I think Red Letter Media is like, this is their top episode. This episode, by the way, the anime.
It's in the list. I don't remember where it ranked. I thought
Really?
Mhm.
they ranked their top 20 episodes, and it was in there.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well,
You ready for Deep Space Nine?
Yes.
yeah.
but
Bring it on.
I confused this with another episode, sort of, because whatever. Let's get into it, and then I guess I'll clarify.
All right, question first. Do you like young Bashir or like start aging Bashir? Because I actually like aging Bashir a little bit more.
I'm not sure what you mean.
He looks different compared to like the beginning of the series, right? He
Oh,
looks
really?
more younger.
I hadn't even really noticed.
I
Yeah, I
haven't
didn't really
seen
either.
enough Deep Space Nine to be able to tell.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. I didn't really pay enough attention to notice a difference, and nor
Is
did
his
I.
hair- is
I mean,
his hair
everyone looks a
receding?
little different, but
Is that what you're saying? His hairline's getting busted?
His hairline's getting busted. His skin is not as shiny as the first couple of seasons.
People get old. Especially back
Yeah.
then. They got old faster.
I got so annoyed at Rom, by the way, the rest of this whole fucking episode. I was just like, fucking say you love her, but I get it. They were just doing that to like.
yeah, what a cliche! Like, what
Yeah.
a horrible, like, contrived story that is. But it's still nice, and I'd still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Quark. He's like, maybe he doesn't love you. Get back to work. Show your tits, bitch.
I like that. Take those big braids back over to the Dabo table where the customers can see them.
Yeah.
And she's just like, oh, she couldn't believe what he just said to her.
What's really funny is, I think we've said this already on the episode. Is Rom retarded?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Because he does have a child, right?
Yes, he does.
Yeah. So that's the thing that always makes me feel like, okay, this is a little too much, because he doesn't need to act like he's never done this before. He's got proof.
I
We're
think it's
there.
just a little off. Well, like they say in the episodes, like he signed a contract to get a wife, and then he fell in love with her, and then she used that love to trick him into signing a different contract and then leaving.
I think
Like,
he's like a
Jesus
level
Christ.
3 trade enthusiast. He's like high level because he's like Quark says he's an engineer. He solves problems. So like
Yeah.
he has some kind of job, and clearly he's good enough at it. I
Yeah,
suppose.
he is intelligent. Like at this point in the series, he's he's kind of the apprentice to the main chief. Like he's learning how to be an engineer around the station.
And I get
Okay.
it. He's like one of those like PhD like math doctorates that has, for some reason, has a pack of those Crayola markers that smell like fruits in his back pocket at all times, and you don't know what. Like it's like, okay, cool, I get it. You do math, but why do you have those markers?
This seems really specific.
Right,
That is very
that's-
specific.
Yeah, sorry.
I like the scratch and snip stickers,
Please-
but that's just
please.
me.
Somebody's drawing off personal experience here, I think.
A little bit.
We're not even talking about the doctor part of the episode.
We're not, but let's get to it anyway.
Well, it's funny that we brought up that Rom is a retard. Julian was an ex-retard. And then he got fucking genetics and stuff to get like smarter. And that's what
actually, yeah.
Andy, when you Andy, even though you said like you made a mistake with this episode.
No, I only half made a mistake because I do hate that they do that to his character because he's like just a really intelligent go-getter, a great guy. And then they're like, oh, but he was genetically manipulated to be very smart. It's like, oh, why would you take that away? Like now he didn't earn where he's at. And I hate the scene at the end where he reveals that he's been losing on purpose at darts. That's stupid. I hate that. I feel like that's a dumb thing to do to his character. And they revisit it throughout the series and do some interesting stuff with it. What I was misremembering is there's an episode after this where Starfleet's like, okay, well, you're genetically modified. We're going to send these other genetically modified people who have major problems to you, and we need you to help us figure out what to do with them. Because they're all like they were all illegally modified, and now they're basically like they're just super autistic. They're just weirdos, but they're all really intelligent, and the whole episode's a pain in the ass. And then they come back at least once more in the series, and I'm like, why are we doing this? But also, I just hate that they do this to Bashir's character. It's not cool. I think. I don't. Maybe you guys really like it. I don't.
No, I appreciate in a vacuum this episode because, like, again,
yeah, that's probably what it is. Like on its own, this episode's really cool. But I guess if you like Bashir, if you've been with him for several seasons at this point, it's a different story.
Yeah, because like last episode that we talked about the enemy, there was like a dilemma with Worf's like morality. Now we're looking at the parents' morality of like they looked at their son and being like, he's stupid and he's gonna fall behind. And I get it that because they're parents, they want to see him succeed. But like Julian like brings up like you didn't let me grow or you didn't let me like learn or like and get better. They just we're just gonna genetically make you smarter essentially and turn into a different person. Do you think that was moral of the parents to do that as far as the parents' point of view to make
well,
it's
better? Interesting because this episode really takes me for the ride because I'm totally on Julian's side the whole time. And then his mother gives that speech about like, oh, you don't know what it's like to see your child struggle and there's nothing you can do. And then you find out there's something you can do. And it's like, oh, okay, well, I get that side of the argument too. Like up until that point, it's like, wow, they selfishly wanted an excelling child or something. And then you hear that and it's like, oh, okay, well, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's actually delivered really well too. I think this episode's actually written really well in the sense that you were given a rug pull, but then there's another rug pull because I'm not attached to his character because I've not watched the series. However, I really like his character from what episodes I've watched. He actually might be my favorite character. So for the fact that they pull this, it feels like a rug pull, and I agree a little bit. It feels like, oh man, that kind of sucks to do to his character. But even O'Brien makes the point of saying, okay, well, just because you were gifted, this ability or that ability, it doesn't take away from the things that you've done. It doesn't take your humanity away. Like you've still made conscious decisions as a person, and you still have empathy. Like there are things that you can't genetically modify in that way that you have that still make you who you are. So there are still important things that still fit here that wouldn't change. But again, then you get to the dilemma of the parents made this choice, and it makes it seem like it was done in some selfish way, and he has this resentment because he feels like he just became one of his dad's get-rich-quick schemes that didn't work out. Like that's kind of how he treats him the whole time. They give that stereotype off, like his dad's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make this is the next thing. It's gonna get me rich quick. And then they also go ahead and bring up how the whole reason that modifying is a problem is because it did lead into an entire war where the human race was almost eliminated by said people, right? The eugenics wars was a problem. So
what's with the Indians like being genetically, because remember Khan was Indian and he was like the genetically advanced human, and then you have Bashir here, which maybe I'm being racist. Bashir is Indian, right?
Looks like one of his parents is for sure.
Yeah, I thought maybe one was Indian and one was like Pakistani or something like that. Maybe that's it's the future. They get along. Maybe that's supposed to be the message.
With an Australian accent or New Zealand accent, because that accent's something.
Yeah, no, the accent was definitely like British, New Zealand, something like that.
Well, I thought they mentioned New Zealand. That's why I was.
That's where the penal colony is, where he's going to jail.
Oh no, they get to send me to the fucking Shire to serve out my
That's another interesting, another continuity thing, because at the beginning of Voyager, Tom Paris is imprisoned at that same prison when Janeway goes to get him. I was like, oh, that's cool. They keep track of where this penal colony is.
Yeah, just funny that's in New Zealand. Like you said, you can go into the Shire.
Yeah, it's like this gorgeous area. Yeah.
He says low security, so I guess the high security is like in the fucking Sahara Desert or fucking Guantanamo Bay or whatever. I don't know.
Greenland.
Yeah, well, who knows?
Since Andy brought up Voyager, the AI doctor, the human guy who like creates
Dr. Zimmerman.
Yeah, he creates the program, and he's like making Bashir like the long term. I guess can mass produce the Bashir to other stations and shuttles and stuff. Is like creating it, and he has to like get people's feedback. So like they're interviewing his friends, and obviously they need his parents and stuff. I do like the writing where they're having dinner, and the way like it's written, like they can't tell our secret. I kept on thinking like his parents were fake. Like he was like something else, and I was like, oh, what's the secret? I want to know about this. And then they did the rug pull about the him being advanced and stuff. And I agree with you, Andy, and it's funny because when the ending scene with the darts, I got annoyed too, because I'm like, oh man, you just fucking ruined the fun out of O'Brien.
They've been playing darts for seasons at this point, and it like ruins all those nice scenes. It's dumb.
Yeah, but I do like how it played with my emotions, because you said you were on Bashir's side. I got annoyed at Bashir talking to his father like that, because his father was being a narcissist a little bit. He's like, I'm a great architect. I can build fucking bushes and shit for parts. And he would just like shut him down and call him like a fucking failure and stuff. Like,
he's actually just at home playing Minecraft.
Yeah. And I'm like, fuck you, Bashir. But then like I understood essentially how he's feeling later on. And I do like the ending where like obviously he gives himself up to the Admiral. Do you think during his time the Admiral would make that deal for people that are genetically advanced?
Maybe. Honestly, at this point in the series, Dr. Bashir has been such a asset to Deep Space Nine. They probably don't want to lose him, and he probably jumps at the opportunity to do something to keep him there.
Because I thought about that too, because I'm like, he's been doing a lot of good things. He's not really showing his hand. Maybe if this was like TNG or maybe original Star Trek, they'd be like, fucking throw everybody into prison because they're all fucking, Well,
I think they also have enough proof. I think they mentioned this too. That he has shown through his actions in enough ways that he is not showing some motive where he wants to, he's not going to be a megalomaniac to try to attempt to take over Starfleet or do anything that would be concerning. Because that was the biggest concern that they had, is that people who end up genetically modified, so many of them at certain points end up becoming sociopaths. So that ends up leading to, bad things because they all get together and try to take over the world. So it seemed like, at least from what they had said, he had proven himself to not be a risk for that. So I think that's why they made the exception.
I think the way the Admiral phrases, like behind every smart Bashir, there's like a fucking power hungry Khan or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did want to come back to something. So we kind of jumped down in one trail and then ended up kind of going a circle, but just because I have to do the whole I'm a parent so I can relate, but
I'm a doctor. I'm a parent. Star Trek's all about me.
It is. I am the sun, and Star Trek is orbiting around me. No, yeah, I was very much with Andy in the fact that I was on Bashir's side until they the mom had spoken, and then and for some reason it didn't even like click to me. But at the same time, they hadn't given you all the information. They still made it seem like, okay, they did this for some gain of some kind, right?
Yeah.
And it's not until they say that, and it's like, oh, okay. As someone who, has a child and would conceivably do anything to make sure that they can succeed, and I would have to watch them struggle. Not to mention, I've taken care of a lot of kids who their parents have watched them go through that. So I've been a part of that on the other side of watching, kids, and we figure out ways to, get them meds so they can do better in school because they have some type of learning disability or something. So, yeah, I totally get that. If my kid were in a situation like that, then yeah, I may very well take that risk, not knowing what I would get if it meant I didn't have to watch my kid suffer, right? So I get what they did. It's relatable. Again, it's I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer, right?
Mm-hmm. Because you think about it, like, because Julian brings up, like, you never let me essentially grow into whatever I wanted to be originally. But, it's going to sound fucked up for me to say it this way, but, like, what if he never did? Like, what if he was just like, I like trains? Or like, I like...
but, I mean, that's kind of the point, though, is they were giving him a chance to. He always looked at it like, I was so young, I didn't have a chance. But at that point, he was so far behind.
Mm.
Like, there's a little bit of Doc Talk within the Doc Talk episode, but, he was so far behind. He was so significantly delayed. Then yeah, you might consider him to be like mentally handicapped, or at the very least, yeah, he could fall under an autism diagnosis depending on some of the other factors. But at the very least, his skills were far behind on what he was expected to do at his age. So yeah, they easily had given him some chances to show that, and he was just too far behind and struggling. So that was what they felt was the next option.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't know what they were going to get. Like, again, he could have also turned into a sociopath and an asshole, but he didn't. So
yeah, he did. He cheats at darts. He purposefully fails at darts so he can make his friend feel good. What a dick.
I know, right? Like, just keep it a secret. So instead of just being competitive and just whooping his ass every time, just barely to make him think he has a chance.
How many genetically enhanced babies he put into women, you think?
Whoa. Yeah, how's that work?
At the beginning, he's talking to O'Brien about having kids, because at this point in the series, O'Brien just had a second kid. And he's like, oh, I'm not the family kind of guy. And I think it's because he knows that he's had his genome resequenced or something. He refuses to reproduce. I think that's what that is. I think it's a foreshadow.
Have at it, brother. Genetic jackhammer. Go on.
I'm trying to think. I have to give props to Star Trek writing. Like, they do overlapping universes good. Like, they don't do subtle like how Marvel does it. Be like, now you gotta watch the next film to see what's going on with this character. They're just like, they casually just bring on characters from different shows and insert it and be like, oh, there's the thing. That's how the AI is born, essentially.
I also really like that Robert Picardo plays Dr. Zimmerman as a real prick, and then he plays the Doctor on Voyager kind of as a prick, but as the series goes on, he's a lot less of one all the time. So they become distinct characters. It's kind of interesting.
He's a nice prick.
He's a nice prick. That's right.
He's a horny prick too, because he just moves on from fucking that the one Rom likes and stuff, and sees that Vulcan.
Yeah, whatever that other alien chick was, she was wearing the leather pants.
Yeah. He moved on from Heartbreak pretty quickly.
Yep. Good for him.
Oh, I made the comment in Facebook Messenger. I'm like, Cisco has a passive-aggressive tone when he's not passive-aggressive.
That's because he's passive. He's being passively aggressive. His default state is aggression.
Yeah, that's true. That's all he knows how to do. There's either aggression or the edge of aggression. That's all he's capable of. And sometimes he cooks.
That's what happens when he's being passive.
Just passively aggressive. That's pretty good.
Anything else about this episode?
It also rules, as does the rest of this series.
Yes.
That was good.
Yes, this episode was very good. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
I'm not even gonna recommend it because we all recommend shit. I think the only one we didn't kind of recommend was my Darkly Mirror episode type of shit. But
Perhaps.
all right,
There's-
Voyager time.
There's very few stinkers out there. They do exist, but they're few and far between, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they're called lower decks or fucking whatever.
No, Lower Decks is actually pretty good. It's fucking just Discovery.
Strange
Fuck that
New
shit.
Worlds, Discovery.
Okay,
Picard,
Discovery,
right?
sure, yeah.
Yeah. All right. This episode. Wow, I don't even know where to start. Like how to unpack. So
Yeah, this episode's really hard to go back over, isn't it?
this is
This is a
episode's-
mystery at first.
Yeah. So basically, I think we have to kind of just do a synopsis and explaining what happens.
Yeah,
We really do because I want to talk about it. Because holy shit, this episode.
This episode's less about being a doctor and more about being a combat medic.
I think
Yeah.
so, yeah.
So, but no, this comes up kind of like this is a thing that comes up. We have to go through a medical ethics, and actually, one of the reasons I chose this episode is I remember this episode being brought up in one of the lessons that I learned in ethics in medical school. But I didn't know anything about what the episode was. It was just brought up with the same dilemma. So there's a reason I'm getting to that. But anyway, what's his name again? I can't remember the emergency hall.
EMH.
Doctor.
EMH doctor. That's right, the doctor.
Yeah, again, like at the beginning,
doesn't have a
at the
name,
end of
yeah.
season 1, they're like, you should choose a name, and then he just kind of like is aloof about it. I guess the whole series, because this is like season 5.
Yeah, he just called the doctor. Yeah. So anyway, the EMH or the emergency medical hologram or holoprogram is he's doing something new to basically update, and as he's doing the scans and doing physicals on everyone, he discovers something he doesn't remember on a patient. Like a pretty significant thing. It's like he had neurosurgery, and it's like, oh, and I did it, and I don't know why I don't remember, and this person doesn't remember either. And then he starts.
Interestingly, Kim is like, I believe him when he says he doesn't remember it, but then we discover later he does remember it. He's just pretending.
Yeah. They give you the inkling that he doesn't, and you don't have a reason to not believe him at that point.
Right.
So now he's like, oh, well, I have this thing, and it's confusing. I don't know why I wouldn't remember this. And he starts to try to track why that would exist. And as he's digging, he ends up uncovering information about a certain date or party, and he ends up finding out about a new crew member he doesn't remember. And he doesn't understand why he doesn't remember. And as he keeps digging, Janeway, the captain, does not like. She kind of lets him do it. She's like, "Okay, you can look into what you want," but she doesn't seem overly encouraging about and supportive about helping him. But then, as he's doing this, he realizes some of his memory is tampered with, even in the last 24 hours, so he forgets. But because things were already kind of in motion with someone else, who was at 7 of 9, who was helping him.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess at this point in the series, 7 and 9 had just joined the ship, so she missed out on whatever all this was about.
Right. So, unaware of what had happened, they find out she's like trying to help him, and he ends up realizing, okay, someone is actually messing with my memory. What's happening? Well, it turns out an incident did happen on the ship where they were attacked, and when they were attacked, 2 people were mortally wounded. He had the situation of they have the exact same specific type of injury. He had to think right there in the moment of how he could try to save them. He only had the time to execute to save one of them, and they have what he terms in the show an equal chance of survival. He has no reason to pick one over the other in that case. Which one does he choose? Because he has to choose somebody, or they'll both die. And in the split decision, he makes a decision to save Kim. The other person dies. It happens to be their birthday, which, boy, that's a shitty birthday. And then afterwards, his processing goes kind of nuts because it's trying to deal with the weight of making a decision to kill someone. And he's experiencing a crazy amount of guilt over what he decided because his program is not designed to deal with that type of situation. and neither are humans to that extent. We figure out a way to move on, but no one's really programmed to decide, okay, if I'm given the chance to choose between two people on who to save, and one of them's gonna die, like, who do I choose?
Depends on the person.
Yeah.
He chose his friend, and he says it out loud. He's like, I chose my...
And by saying all that out loud, I just realized the actual theme of this episode. This episode was choices. That's what it really was. It wasn't about the doctors. It just happened to be there, but it was actually about these ethical dilemmas of what choice do I make, right? So all three of them came down to a very specific thing of choosing a gray area choice where there's not a correct answer, right? So cool. So we got to a theme after all. But
yeah, I always make a joke with my friends when we're choosing what to eat. Like when he goes into the cook's place and he's like, "What do I choose? This fruit or this fruit?" Like, I used to
what
do
if
that.
they're identical though?
Yeah, and he like smashes the nuts and stuff, and he like gets all crazy. I kind of like play that off with my friends, and we're like, we're gonna go to Taco Bell or fucking Burger King. They're not the same, but they're fast food.
I really like that scene because you could easily read on a script, and then he acts crazy and gets really animated. But the way he does it is so like I don't know, boiling under the surface, menacing in a way.
So unsettling. It really is. Yeah.
It's not like he goes, "Oh, I'm crazy," and starts throwing stuff around. It's like it's so gradual and so like controlled almost that you're like, wait a minute, what's happening here? And then you kind of catch up with what's
it's like
on.
that dude realized this guy's unraveling right in front of me.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing though too, is because he's a program, it's trying to actually, you don't know what he's going to do next. That's what makes it so unnerving, is you don't know if the reaction's going to become larger and he's just going to get more violent. Is he just going to have a nervous breakdown and start crying? Like, because you wouldn't expect that to be what he does, but that's what a person might do. So yeah,
well, that's what Janeway like kind of figure out later on, because remember when 7 and 9 goes into Janeway's place at 2 a.m. in the morning,
and we have a philosophical discussion
about individuality and stuff,
right.
And she like brings up about the Borg, like, would you like kind of shut me off if like you thought I was gonna go crazy and stuff? And then that's when she kind of clicks, like the self-aware of the hologram is fighting with the programming essentially.
Yeah. Well, they've given him a chance to evolve. Like, he is more than just programming now. He's not a tool, and it was easy for her to look at it that way because it was convenient. But they gave him the chance to develop individuality. Like, he is, for whether they want to accept it or not, he has a sentient consciousness now. So he is allowed to choose, right? So yeah, by the end, it ends in a way that doesn't tell you it's all going to be fine, but in the same time, it kind of shows you he just needed to process it and was given enough time, and he would figure it out. That's kind of where they end up leaving it, where he realizes she's sick, and even in his own breakdown realizes, oh, well, no, you're okay. Like, he's already starting to come to terms with, okay, well, this is what I have to do. And I think this episode is phenomenal. This might be one of my favorite episodes watching Star Trek, period.
Yeah, no, I was really smitten with this episode too, actually.
Yeah, it was good.
No, I like, again, as much as I've wanted to watch DS9, I might want to watch Voyager now before, but I
want to rewatch Voyager because of this episode.
Yeah,
I want to keep watching Voyager.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely fantastic. Just there's two different dilemmas, right? The individuality dilemma is there. Like, at what point, like, do you need to accept that something that was otherwise a tool is now a living thing, and we have to give it its own rights to evolve and process things? But also, just that situation is it is a thing that does come up. Like, it may not be in the exact scenario, but for what information you're given, it is not at all like, I have been in the situation where I have two codes to respond to at the same time, and while yes, there may be more details to decide, okay, it's not as simple as both of these patients are going to die, you can save one, the other will die. We have more people there. Like, there's a lot of factors, but you still have to make some conscious decision to do something, and choose and move and again, medicine actually is built and predicated on trying to avoid these scenarios. You do as many things as you can to prepare for disasters and do everything you can so that the very last thing you have to come down to is just actively deciding who lives, who dies. You try to plan for having all the resources and decisions that you need in a time so that when there is an emergency, you don't have to think about it. You've made protocols to think for you, and you do what you need to do so that that person has the best chance of survival. So, in that case, again, this episode to me is fascinating on multiple levels.
And I think it also handles like humans, or at least like doctors dealing with loss and stuff as well. Like, second guessing themselves of being like, if I could have done this, would have saved them both essentially. And it also like brings me back to another show called Lost, where you have Jack and his father. They're both doctors. Jack is like always wanting to save a lot of people. And the father says something. He says, son, I'm one thing good at more than you. And it's, I know how to deal with failure. You don't. I could have someone die on the operating table and then just come home, have dinner, and then go home, go back to work again. And Jack, you can't do that because you're just a goody two shoes and stuff, essentially. Because obviously the father is being a dick kind of in a way, but also he probably dealt with a lot of loss as a doctor because he's older and stuff. But then again, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think the moment you give up caring about it, like there's a balance because you have to work in a way that you don't let it affect how you would react in the future, like at least not in a negative way. But you also don't want to become so jaded that it also affects you. Like again, if it takes your element of compassion away, then like again that you've lost there too, because then you're not going to be able to give adequate care, and but at the same time you can't let it eat at you. And that it was something I learned. I mean, I struggled a lot because in residency and a few times as an attending, I've had to give that bad news where. And again, I work in pediatrics, so when I'm giving it, it's not just me giving it about any old person. I'm telling them, sorry, I did what I could, but your child's dead. I've had to do that. It is the worst thing I've ever had to do. And I've probably said that before in the show, but it sucks. Like there's no bones about it. It's horrible. There's nothing great that feels about it. I'm getting upset.
Yeah, my dad had to do it as a cop as well, like tell bad news to, parents and stuff.
Yeah, but like to feel like all you can do in that moment, every single time I've done it, all 11 times, I then fixate for hours after. What could I have done differently? Did this person die for no reason other than it was going to happen and I did everything I really could? Or did I just say that to make myself and the parent feel better? Is there something I actually could have done differently? And it will eat at you. It's hard. And I've been in some pretty dark places before because of that guilt. So because of that, I can, and it's not to say that no one else can relate to that. There are other ways you can look at this without being in the medical field, and the same thing can apply, right? But ultimately, it just comes down to, it's not that he made a decision to save a life. He's looking at it from the perspective, I also made the decision to kill someone. And whether that's the right or wrong way to look at it, that is how we will process it, because they are equal halves of that decision. By choosing to save this person, you've also chosen for this person to die. And why would I do that? Like why? And that's the whole dilemma of the episode. And it is, you put anyone in that situation. It's what's the movie Sophie's Choice? It's you have two children, you can save one, the other one's going to die. Which one do you choose? Like, it's another possible dilemma or situation. We're hitting some heavy topics today on the show. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to bring it down and be so heavy, but that's what this episode kind of is at its core, and it makes you think about things.
Yeah,
it's less heavy, but I've been watching Voyager, and there's another Doctor episode. Well, sadly, it's the B plot in an episode, but it's about the Doctor, and I almost joked like, "Oh, you guys are." Chaz, you should have chose this episode. It's about the Doctor, but toward the beginning of the series, he's still like just an AI, like robotic kind of guy, and he has an assistant, Cass, and she says, like he's always like she's always trying to say, "Oh, you should get some bed rest," and he's like, "No, you can return to duty. 2 hours. Here, take this. Get out of here." And she's like, "You don't understand what it's like to be sick. You're just a computer." And he says, "Maybe you've got a point." So he programs himself with all the common ailments, everything that would happen if you got the flu. He calls it like some stupid space flu, but it's the flu. And he spends the whole episode having the flu and just being a huge bitch about it. And it's actually pretty funny. It's pretty pretty lighthearted. But at the end of the episode, he's still sick. And he says, "I don't understand. I programmed it to be a 29-hour flu. I'm still sick. I need help right now. I need help. I need you to send someone to fix this. I'm sick of feeling like this. I hate it." And then it's revealed that Cass went behind him and like altered the program so he'd be sick for like 31 hours or something. And he like learns a lot about empathy and how to treat patients and what it's like to be sick. And it's just a funny plot line.
Oh, that sounds like an awesome episode. Yeah.
It's in season 1.
Well, that's what I love about sci-fi is like they, you look at Janeway where she looks at someone like 7 to 9 as a robot because she like explains the analogy about the replicator compared to like fucking the doctor and shit. And I was like, that's fucked up, you fucking bitch. But anyway,
he's a computer, so I get it.
I get it, but like there are some Black Mirror episodes where they like take AI essentially, be like, are they people? Should we start treating them as people? Essentially,
that's what this is about. That's what Voyager's doing.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. And to be fair, when Voyager started effectively, you probably could say that Janeway was correct, right? Like, yes, he is just a program, a tool, but it's the fact that his programming comes with the ability to change and adapt and evolve, and by being given the opportunity to do so, it's more than that now, right? So I don't think that Janeway was necessarily saying it in like it was more out of protection of, okay, this is the way it has to be because this is the convenient thing and I have to think about safety, and it is riskier to see how this plays out because who knows, what if he goes off the deep end and then it ends up leading to several people dying and it would be her fault because she let a programming error go rogue on her ship, right?
Yeah, well,
so it's those what ifs.
Yeah, Picard has the same issue with Data, right? Like he's an android and stuff, and like he has to speak his individuality, especially with that famous episode where he's in a court case, which is one of my favorite episodes of all time.
Oh yeah, Measure of Man's a great episode. No, it absolutely is that. I mean, again, they have given him the opportunity to then reach said level of consciousness, so it already is what it is. You can't cork the genie again. Like it's out. So at that point you have to either decide, are you going to actively oppress someone's individual state, or are you going to allow it for what you meant it to be to begin with? And it's just a harder thing because you don't know what the risks involved entail of that, but it's already too late. It's like you can't go back. I mean, you're no better than just enslaving someone else, or right? It'd be the same thing. You're not allowing someone to have rights.
Yeah.
So, and that's not what Star Trek's about. So,
anything else about this episode?
Nope, could not recommend it more. Like I said, it in a short list, it is on my favorite episodes of all Star Trek episodes I've watched.
Nice. I actually somewhat forgot about this episode. And then, like, I watched it, I was like, oh, fuck, this is awesome. Like, I think when it comes down to ranking, it's going to be pretty interesting when we actually rank the episodes. But, Zach, what is your episodes for next week?
Oh, I picked original Star Trek series episodes, Amok Time, The Changeling, and The Trouble with Tribbles. There's no theme. The theme is it's just old Star Trek, that's all.
Spoilers, I already watched them, they all sucked. Let's move on.
Whoa.
Yeah, right.
We already watched part of The Trouble with Tribbles last year.
It's true.
I think secretly Zach is just trying to get through the original Star Trek through the podcast.
Yeah.
No, not exactly. I mean, I finished the
kidding.
whole first season by myself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
I know. I'm just kidding. So yeah, OG Trek. I could always love some OG Trek. I like anything Trek except Discovery.
Gotta bring it back to basics.
Yeah, I like everything Star Trek up to like 2010.
All right. Well, I have no ads still, so post credit scene time.
Well, I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I'm still playing Ocarina of Time. I'm in the Fire Temple, screwing around in there, doing some fiery stuff, freeing some of them rock people, and they're all like, "Whoa." Still watching Voyager. I'm almost at the end of season 2. I took a little. I haven't been hitting it as hard because I've been putting on a bunch of YouTube stuff and just playing Ocarina of Time. It seems like I'm probably not very far, but I did a bunch of the extra stuff as soon as I was an adult, and a bunch of the extra stuff as a kid. So now I think I'm just gonna dungeon it up pretty much. But I watched this is a blast from the past, but I've watched a whole bunch of episodes of the old Spoonie series Counter Monkey about like RPG stuff. Because I played D&D recently, and this time of year always makes me think about D&D early spring when it's raining. Because I think it was in 9 or 10 years ago. Zach and I were discussing this because it came up in my Facebook memories. But 9 or 10 years ago, we started the D&D group that Zach and I are part of, and a couple other friends that now don't even live in the state. Well, no, Josh still does, but don't even live in the state. And it's just I've always associated this time of year with it. So now I want to read one of the D&D books, or so I was watching Counter Monkey, and it's still interesting, and it's still like there's some stuff to pick out of it to like, oh yeah, maybe I'll think about that when I'm playing D&D next. But it's still a good series. It's kind of painful sometimes to watch Spoonie stuff though, because it's like, what happened to him.
Yeah.
And then also I just wanted to say, like, I watch YouTube stuff every single week, and I don't bring it up unless it's like really good, but I watched something really good, so I wanted to bring up a YouTuber I really like. Modular he's been making videos about Ultima, and he was making them like every other video, but now he's like focusing fire on them, and I think it's because they're gaining him a lot of popularity. But there's a good reason for that. His Ultima videos are extremely good. I like them a lot. He made one about Ultima 7, the Black Gate, and it's like 3 hours long, and I loved it. It is so interesting, and it makes me want to play that game, even though he kind of like ruins parts of the story like throughout. He does in all of his videos pretty much, but the game's just interesting, and it it's a product of its time, as they say. But I've always been interested in CRPGs just because I missed so many of them. So I don't know. I just wanted to name drop that. If you're like me and you don't know much about Ultima, watch some of his Ultima videos, or watch Spoonies for that matter. But Modulars are a little more comprehensive. They're more thorough. And I think probably better in the long run. He's not trying to be funny. He's trying to make an interesting video. It's more of like an action button style thing than a Spoonie thing.
It's being more informative.
Yeah. But it's Zach, you would like it. I sent you a couple of his videos, but I think they're too long. I think they scared you away or something.
I'm not scared. I probably just forgot about it.
Yeah, probably. But he's made a Calibeth all the way up to 7, and also the side games. So Savage World and Underworld he's made. The Underworld game was really interesting too. But yeah, that's kind of it though. Like I said, just short and sweet. I've been doing YouTube-y stuff and Voyager and Ocarina. Chaz, what about you?
Yeah, so start with the card stuff because it's always the fun stuff. We'll start with a spoiler. It's a big shocker. I played in an Orcana tournament, and I immediately lost the first 2 rounds and dropped out of the event and went home.
Whoa.
It's the first time it's ever happened.
Did you cry?
I did not. I didn't feel well, so that was part of why I just left. And it was also like, okay, well, I could stay here and keep playing for no reason other than to play. Or I could, because I had no chance of winning any money at that point. Or I could go home, save a little bit of face with the wife and kid, and rest because I was not feeling well. And in the thing that shouldn't surprise anyone, shocking twist, I got a cold and I was sick for a few days, and it sucked. So that was part of it. But the game itself is not in an incredibly healthy place right now because they printed a couple of cards that made a very specific type of deck very oppressive. And funny enough, it's actually the deck that I would have been playing already, but I don't want to just play the thing everyone in the room is playing. I want to try to play the things that beat it. So I took a risk on playing something that I thought could do that. I ended up not playing against it and not doing very well with what I did play, and that was that. So anyway, things happen. It's card games, whatever. I did get new Pokemon cards though. Bought the new set that just dropped, Journey Together, and opened my packs and opened lots of cool stuff. Opened one of them fancy Salamences. It's like I think around 150 or $200 or something like that right now. So it's all pretty. For television, just to have on while I've been goofing off playing on the Switch, I watched a couple episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I kind of just been like working through that over the last like month or two. I don't think I ever brought it up on the show, but yeah, I've just been like steadily grinding through those episodes just because it's just on. I watched a little more
it's an
of.
important show to rewatch every 2 or 3 years.
It is. It's great. I'm watching Daredevil Born Again. We still haven't watched the most recent episode that came out, but I'm still interested where they're going with it. But they are still taking their sweet time to get to what feels like a very slow burn, like boiling point. Like I think we're almost there. The last episode was pretty good, but they're still dealing with like side plot stuff as far as what I could tell. But again, try not to spoil anything. But I've enjoyed it so far, though. I can't say I haven't. It's like, where are we going with this? I watched a bunch of just random, like, just top games for this console and just bullshit like that. Just absolute, just whatever. I would look at it like the French fries of the YouTube gaming sphere. I'm literally just consuming nonsense. It's just like, oh, this guy thinks these are the best.
You have it on while you're playing games, right?
Yeah, literally just on while I'm like sorting cards, or it's like on in the background, but it is kind of a funny chuckle. I shout out to Culture Vultures. It was the one I was watching. It's silly nonsense, but I enjoy their weird way of going about what games are talking about.
Were they accurate or did they suck? Do you feel they represented?
For the most part, I agree with most of the stuff they had said. There were a few things they picked that were kind of weird, but they admittedly said, like, again, nobody was doing anything dumb.
Okay.
And they were cool videos. It's also talked about a lot of stuff that I didn't play. You know, I didn't grow up with a Saturn, and never went back to the Saturn, so it was interesting to hear about games on the Saturn. I mean, I got pretty deep in these videos of what top 20s they covered. I was interested that the way they covered, like, I think it was the top Sonic game. They took all the 25 best Sonic games and ranked them. And for them to say that Sonic Mania was the best one I thought was kind of interesting. That was the one that was chosen. But at the same time, I kind of get it.
Argument.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like I kind of get it. Like, okay, it's kind of hard to argue against that if you really think about it. If you're leaning strictly on the canon of just one game, it's obviously it's not that. But yeah, then the game is pretty amazing. But anyway, yeah, that was a song while I was like dicking around. So for video games, there are two games that I've played. And one of them I kind of just went right through because that's how it's designed to be played. But the other one I'm still grinding through, and I'm almost done with it. So the first one is Sin and Punishment, which is the rail shooter. I played it on the Switch. That game is really fun. Yeah, kind of unique in the way you play it too. Which I guess it didn't originally have a North American release.
Right.
So I think it was until, oh goodness, was it like the Wii or Wii U or something?
We had a digital release of it, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway.
They also had a sequel in the Wii.
Oh, okay, yeah, but I played it. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It's a lot of fun. And it's challenging, but not like insanely over the top difficult. So, it's a good time and only a few hours. So, recommend it if someone has the N64 on Switch Online. Check it out. And then I'm currently playing through the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which came out last year. That game has been.
Sorry, was that someone's Xbox that just dinged?
I did hear a kaplunk.
Yeah, that was me. It says it's turning off. That's what it was doing.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. This game again, I couldn't recommend it enough. If you are a fan of Metroidvanias, like the 2D Metroidvania games, if you're a fan of the game Celeste or other similar like puzzle platformers, absolutely get this game. It's been a while. Maybe Hollow Knight's the only other one I can think of that may have done the same thing. That's probably the best one to compare it to, and arguably that's like a lot of people would put that up as like the top Metroidvania of all time anyway, or one of the top ones. But this game it has a good story. It's interesting. There's a lot of cool quality of life stuff. Like you know how like in those types of games you have the map and you can't decide how you're going to marker this thing that you have to come back to later, or maybe in older games you don't have that at all, so you just got to remember. On this game, you actually get a feature where you can take a picture and it saves it, and you can do so many of those in the game, and you actually get the ability to get more and more of the pictures. But it saves that as a special marker, and when you just highlight it when you're looking at the map, it just simply shows you what the obstacle is. Like it shows you that picture, so you know, hey, this is what I need in order to go back to take care of this. Which it's tied into the story, which is kind of cool. So they do a lot of neat stuff like that. But the platforming is honestly, the combat's good, but not insane. Like it's good. I wouldn't say it's like the best thing ever. Like it's pretty standard stuff, but it's still really strong. They have a parry system, which is good. But the thing I like the most by far is they have a lot of really cool, intricate puzzle platforming, and you can be as challenged as you want to. Like the base amount you have to do for the game just to get through the story is not too difficult, but there's enough that makes you think a little. But then there's challenges and stuff, and some of it is like really fucking hard. So if you want that side of it, you can play that too. So I don't know. It's like the best of both of those types of genres merged together in a game. So, and it's actually pretty lengthy. Like I probably still have like another like 20% of the game left, and I've got like 16, 18 hours in, maybe 20 hours. So there's still a good bit. But yeah, that's all I got though. We'll move on so I don't make Andy fall asleep.
Sorry, I'm a sleepy boy. All right, Zach, you go next. We haven't done a Z yet, so we're doing a Z this time.
Let's see. I haven't done a whole lot. I'm watching anime again.
Animu? What a weeb.
Yeah. So are you.
Japanimation? I don't watch that filth.
No, you just watch movies and obsess over them. And play Yakuza. Play all the Yakuza games.
Yakuza. I haven't played all of them yet. I'm working on it. What anime did you watch?
I watched Paranoia Agent. I didn't finish it yet.
I love that show.
I know, like, I've never actually finished it. I caught it on Toonami when it first ran and wasn't able to finish it. I lost track of when it came on and forgot.
Same thing happened to me. I had to buy it on Blu-ray like a year ago just because I was like, how does that show end?
And I think when Funimation still had their own app, I had it in my watch list, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to watch this, but I got sucked into watching, I believe it was Yu Yu Hakusho, and then I watched Dragon Ball, and then Funimation got bought, and now it's on Crunchyroll, though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to finish it. I don't have much to say right now other than I've seen like the first 3 episodes, and it's great so far. I especially like the episode with the woman who is leading a double life as a weird prostitute or something, and it turns out it's actually like a split personality she has, and it's causing like this huge problem in her life. This anime gets really psychological, like with the characters and shit. Same goes with the second episode, which is like this kid who's like, his whole life is about how he's popular and awesome, and then all of a sudden he goes to school one day and he's not the most awesome, popular guy anymore, and it basically causes him to become a weird sociopath. Cool anime though. Now I also watched an episode of one of these new wave postmodern named animes. That's what I like to call them. The postmodern anime named anime. Which is something like, I used to be a depressed salaryman, and then I got reincarnated into a fantasy world where I killed 300 slimes. Like that's the title of the anime.
Are you watching Art Sword Online?
Sword Art Online?
Yeah.
No. I'm watching Rascal Does Not Dream of a Bunny Girl Senpai.
What?
Do you see what I'm saying? Like with these freaking titles?
Okay, that is a little bit much.
It's about some guy who's going to a school and he's like kind of an outcast because something happened to him in Japanese society is weird. And it's like if you don't fit in, then everybody wants to give you hell because that's just part of weird bugbear about Japanese society. Maybe more so than other places. You could kind of say that's kind of across the board for humanity, but for some reason it's particularly bad over there. But it boils down to some kind of weird freak accident happened to this guy and nobody could explain what happened. And everybody assumed he got in like some kind of a huge fight. And that's supposed to explain all the crazy wounds or hospitalization that he had to go under. So they think he's a weird troublemaker now. Or he's an outcast in school. And then he sees some girl in the library who's in a bunny costume, but nobody can see her but him. And she's real. She's not a figment of his imagination. It turns out she's famous. She's like one of those idol girls or something. And she stopped doing work because she got sick of it because she's overworked. But what's happening is it's like because her fame and popularity are declining because she's not working. It's like everybody in the real world can't actually see her.
Weird.
So it's like her visibility, both in the public eye and in real life, is decreasing. It's like a weird pseudo X-Files-ish kind of anime, I feel like. There's some kind of weird supernatural thing going on. But it was recommended to me, and I watched the first episode. I was like, this is actually kind of funny and clever. I think I'll watch this. And then I watched some more Wrestling Bios videos. I finished the WCW Blunders. I watched them all. I guess he's going to do a series about WWE Blunders. I don't know what he's going to call it, but yeah, there's a lot of those too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just being Oz. Kevin Nash is being like not Oz, and the weird K. There's so much stuff. It's all of it. I still feel like there was more he could have done with the WCW side of things. Maybe he'll do another one later.
Yeah, he's saving the content, milking
it, spacing it out, not milking it.
Mm-hmm.
This guy makes videos like he puts out 3 or 4 videos a week. Played a little bit more WWE 2K25. Not much to say about it right now because I'm still kind of doing the same shit. So it's just I'm playing it. It's something off the side. I started playing Ocarina of Time though, and I'm not that far in it though. I just finished the Death Mountain shit. I got to go go to the water place where the water people live.
The Zoras.
Yeah.
Did you what was your reaction to the very end where all the Gorons want to give him a hug?
That was funny.
Not good. That is the proper reaction. That's one of my favorite parts of the whole game.
That's what I said about this game. We played D&D over the weekend, the previous weekend. I was telling Andy, this game's more funny than I thought it was going to be. Like, I don't know why. I didn't really have expectations for it to not be funny. I guess I just expected it to be a little more, like, not have so much humor in it than what it does.
It gets more, like, when you get older and you see, like, you kind of know what happens, but you see what happens to the world 7 years on, it gets a little more serious.
Yeah, I know. People talk about that. And I've seen, like, some clips of some of the crazy dungeons you do later. And it's like, okay, that's serious.
Honestly, like, again, we're talking about a little, but it kind of speaks a little to how much more you'll latch on to the funny stuff because of how much darker it gets later on, especially if you go back and forth. But we say that because that's going to be another eventual episode that you can check out later.
Yeah, I am liking it so far though. It's cool. That's it. That's all I did.
All right. Well, Dubs, you get to take us home. Okay.
Because of my current situation with my job, I really didn't play anything. Because I'm gonna be honest, I was depressed and I'm worried and anxiety hit. So I do what I do best, and I just fucking brain rot on the internet, and I watch a bunch of YouTube videos. And
sounds
also,
like we all did that.
Yeah. So I before we get into YouTube, just want to, because me and Zach already talked about this on Facebook Messenger. I watched the movie Talk to Me, and I want to make it like clear, because even though I use strong words of like, it sucks and I hate it, I respect the story. I just didn't like the acting.
You can just not like a movie. It's fine. Who cares?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. I just didn't like the main character. I thought she was just fucking annoying the whole time. And I just kept on thinking of just like, fuck your ex-boyfriend already. Fuck. And then she just sucks his fucking foot, and it's weird because the possession and stuff. Anyway, I understood the theme, and I was like, all right, cool, whatever. As far as YouTube wise, I've been watching a bunch of people talk about the Switch 2, and then obviously the Switch 2 got fucking announced and stuff. By the time you guys
brought that up,
yeah. I glanced at the direct. I didn't really fully watch it because my main thing is I was like, what is new about this? And obviously there's like some tech stuff that is kind of new about it. 120 frames per second is kind of fucking crazy for a Switch, which is going to be interesting. I laughed the fucking shit that they put Discord and made that like a big thing in there. Be like, you can put a camera in there and have a webcam with Discord. I'm like,
everyone else is like, yeah, we've been doing this forever.
Yeah. Gaming wise, I was like, Mario Kart World. I was like, it's interesting. It's like for Forza Horizon, essentially just with Mario Kart. I'm like, that could be interesting. We all like that game.
Do I get to make my own liveries? That's the question.
Can we customize our carts? We'll see.
Presumably, yes.
I do want to bring up the price, even though we've been kind of like alluding to it with GTA 6, I think, on the show, or maybe I'm just mixing up with the messenger.
Will it be $100?
Yeah. A lot of people are half and half on it. I mean, obviously, people are still gonna buy it because Nintendo knows you're gonna fucking buy it.
They know.
The one thing that kind of just like made me eyebrow raise a little bit. I'm like, physical is 90, digital is 80, and I'm just like,
I hate those prices. I hate how high they are. However, I have been saying that game companies need to do that for years. Don't charge me the same price for a digital game as you do a physical game. That makes no sense. And finally, they're going to do it. I wish it had been 70-80, not 80-90.
Yeah.
Or 50-60 for that matter.
I know Zach brought up like he's hesitant of buying like new games because of the current price, even at 70 now. And essentially, I still want to get the Switch 2 on day one. But I'm actually with Zach on like new games. I'm gonna wait until it like goes on sale to like $60. How fucking unreal is that? That we like are like we're gonna wait until it goes on sale to probably $60.
Any sale, I still buy most of my games on sale if I can. And honestly, most of what I want to play on the Switch 2 is going to be ports. So I'm hoping they aren't because I want to play Yakuza 2. I want to play Elden Ring maybe. I want to play a couple other things. And it was like, oh, just they'll all be ports. Maybe they won't be full price. And if they are, I'll wait.
And I think I'm with you, Andy. Like I'll try to get one on Wednesday. And if I don't, I'll just get one down the road.
Yeah, same. It's like, I'll give it a shot. If it doesn't work out, whatever. No big deal.
Yeah, because I've been kind of lucky on the past generation with the PS5 and Xbox. Let's see if my luck still stands. But I'm pretty sure I'm probably... a lot of scalpers are going to be out there. I do like what Nintendo's doing, but I still think scalpers are going to fucking somehow create a program to fucking...
scheme. But I hate that you don't get to find out if you... like won the buy it lottery until May. I hate that. I need to know now because I'm going to try to pre-order one, whatever, Wednesday, which I'll be at work. There's no fucking way I'm going to succeed, but whatever.
I'm going to wake up early. I have work, I think, a closing shift that day. So I'll probably just wake up early, pre-order my shit, and then go back to sleep.
I'm going to end up putting all my eggs in that Nintendo lottery basket.
Mm-hmm. Are you getting the 450 or are you going to get the one with the Mario Kart bundle?
Yeah, the one with the Mario Kart. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Mario Kart anyway. Mario Kart 8 is so much fun. I love that game to death. And like, if it's that, but Forza Horizon, another game I love to death. Yeah, sure, that sounds perfect. And I know a lot of people are wishy-washy on it. I fucking love the new art direction. I love like the squishy, springy look of everything. I like the way stuff looks. It looks fun. So I'm in.
And I think the Master Chief Collection is going to get announced for fucking Switch too soon. Which I'm kind
of surprised they didn't do it during that direct.
Yeah, I think I think I might pick it up if it's on the fucking Switch and I could fucking play Master Chief Collection while I take a shit or in bed. I think I'm gonna probably do that. But other things I've been watching is a bunch of Tekken 8 shit where people are fucking pissed off about how Tekken 8 Season 2 fucking broke the game. Where essentially the beta of the game is way better than the fucking Season 2. Where Season 2 is just so imbalanced, it's fucking crazy. They're saying like some people are OP to the point where you literally, if you pick that character, you're going to win 90% of the time. They spent time on like the fluid of like, you know how you could like switch point of view, essentially the camera, like it would go from one area to the next and stuff, that they fix the fluid of that on the frames per second. But then they also just fucking ruined it by basically fucking up the combos and stuff where it just null and voids the fluidity of the changing of the camera. And it's to the point where even hardcore Tekken 8 players are just like, this is bullshit. And all the casual people like, fuck this shit. So it's really interesting. I haven't bought Tekken 8, but I was like looking at it, I'm like, this is pretty cool in Season 1. And now Season 2 is completely broke. Now, I know it's like it could get fixed, but apparently the developing team is just like quadrupling, downing on the... they want to keep how Season 2 is and stuff until Season 3.
Yeah, don't buy it. That new Fatal Fury comes out pretty soon. Just get that.
Yeah. Oh, I actually did play a game casually. Def Jam New York.
Hell yeah.
Oh, Def Jam Fight for New York. The game's a fucking blast.
Yeah.
I have it on the... I have Vendetta. I need to get Fight for New York. I would really like to get that for
Well, it's
GameCube.
expensivo now.
It sure is.
I have it on my Steam Deck, so I was like playing it in bed. I'm like, this is a fucking cool game. I never played it before.
Honestly, I wish I'd have seen the value of those games back when they came out, so I could have got them for cheap. Because now I'm like, man, I want to play those games. They're fucking cool as shit.
I also had the 50-cent game on my fucking Steam Deck.
Blood on the Sand.
Yeah. Oh man, but yeah, that's all I've done. F1, is that this weekend?
Yeah, Suzuka's this weekend, the Japanese Grand Prix. I'm excited. They promoted my boy Yuki, my sweet young man Yuki. He's at Red Bull now.
He's a Red Bull. I'll probably catch the race somehow.
I think it's going to be it's either at 11 or midnight Saturday night.
Are they having a sprint on Friday night?
No sprint this weekend.
No sprint? Okay.
So there's going to be 3 practice sessions and qualifying. Qualifying is at 11:30 tomorrow night, I think. No, I think it's at 2 a.m. I don't know. It's something like that. Who cares? If you're listening to this, you don't care because it's already happened.
Yes. I also watch opening days of baseball, and
I watched a little baseball too. I forgot to say that.
The Mets are kind of like pissing me off because I spent all that money and they're only fucking 3-3, and it's like
I'm getting frustrated watching the Reds because like Ellie De La Cruz is great and everyone else is like, they're fine. Like, God damn it, you can't carry the whole team. But whatever, we're not going to bore everyone with that.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, Andy, take us out. Where can they follow us?
Well, wherever you're seeing us, you can like and follow and comment and subscribe. Wherever you're listening to us, you can also like and comment and follow and subscribe. And if you're listening to us and you want to see us, head to YouTube. If you're on YouTube and you can't stand looking at us, head to anywhere that you get podcasts and you can subscribe to us there. We're on Google Podcasts, Spotify, iTunes, Red Bubble. We're everywhere. So
Red
check
Circle.
us out. Follow us. Red Circle. Whatever. Red something. Red stuff. But we got 300 episodes out there, man. You can go listen to them suckers. We've done a lot of Star Trek. Go listen to those. That's good shit.
And apparently Spotify has comment section that I just found out about. So
Oh, okay. Well, leave comments. Tell us what to improve, and we'll ignore it.
It's our
All right.
tagline.
Yep. All right, guys. We will see you in the next episode. Peace.